offensive unit can make. That just happened. It's new on SportsCenter.
You know, I'd like to see us do a better job of protecting Aaron, particularly on play pass. As I mentioned after the game, you absorb certain risk executing play pass in an effort to get yards in chunks, but that risk should manifest itself in the form of multiple sacks like it did when you're prepared and good. And so as a staff and as a collective, we got to be a little bit better in that space.
I mean, he still has to coach. Marcus Spears, fresh off Monday Night Football with us. Steelers reporter Brooke Pryor, Jeff Saturday, the offensive lineman in this group, to break this entire thing down. And Saturday, I'll start with you. Rodgers pressured 10 times, sacked 4, still had the 4 touchdowns. So when you look at it from that prism with what Mike Tomlin said, what do you make of his debut for the Steelers?
I totally agree with Mike Tomlin. I think Aaron made the most of what the Jets did to him. I thought the Jets got way too aggressive and actually allowed the Steelers to get behind them. But it is not sustainable letting him get pressured 10 times and sacked 4 times. It's just not going to look that way week in and week out. So I think Tomlin understands. They took advantage of mismatches. They made plays, and Aaron made some plays. But at the end of the day, you got to keep a 40-plus-year-old man on vertical for 17 weeks. It's not going to happen letting him get hit as much as he did the other day.
Yeah, and look, we're going to focus on the stats, but when you break down the film like the coach did, he's going to say, wait a second, this guy's not young. He's getting beat up a little bit. So, Brooke, that's the offensive side of the ball. We know in Pittsburgh, it's the defense, it's the defense, it's the defense, except for they gave up 32 points to Justin Field and the Jets. So how are they going to shore that up coming up in week 2?
Matt, it starts with the signing of Jabrill Peppers, which Mike Tomlin just disclosed to us on that podium. That's a byproduct of Deshaun Elliott, strong safety, exited last week's game with a knee injury. Tomlin already said that he is out this week against the Seahawks, but there's more to it than Deshaun Elliott's injury and Jabrill Peppers signing. Patrick Queen, another first-rounder, by the way, the Steelers defense now has 6 former first-rounders on it. But Patrick Queen said after the game that they played like absolute trash and that if the defense kept playing like this, they were going to get their faces mashed in. Mike Tomlin doesn't want that. He said he doesn't think it's a scheme issue, that it's more about recognition and communication. So that's something that they're going to work to shore up this week in practice.
Yeah, and this isn't to slight Justin Fields at all, Marcus Spears, but I don't think anyone thought that this version of the Jets was going to come in and score 32 points on the Steelers defense. It still has a lot of talent. So from your seat as a defensive guy, what did you make of it?
They looked discombobulated. The defense did. They were not gap sound, which you have to be in the run game. And then, too, let's be real. Like, Justin adds an element to the game with his athleticism that puts defenses in harm's way. When they played it the right way, it looked really good. Like TJ smashing people in the backfield and making tackles for loss. I think they were surprised by the anticipatory throws that Justin Fields made. Yeah. That's not his MO. You go into a game with a scouting report and a plan, and you tell yourself, like, it was surprising to, I think, everybody that he pushed the ball down the field as much as he did. This athleticism, their run game, which is really good, and also give them some credit. They were super physical. That offensive line going to be really good in New York. But when you look at Pittsburgh's defense, it's always been really built on stopping you from running the football and then getting after the passer. And that's the vein that they want to live in. And I say leaving this game, if Aaron can play like that, barring not getting the pressures and getting hit, I always thought if this was a 24-point game team, then this defense would be playing ahead, and that's when you let T.J. Watt go and you brought over Jalen Ramsey to be a ball-hawking guy. They had some good signs. It's week 1. I don't want to panic with a quarterback that offers a lot of issues when it comes to your numbers and how you're able to disperse defensively. But they got to get this run game fixed more than anything. That's what their focus should be.
Saturday, get in there.
Yeah, and I think the other part that kind of goes undervalued is Fields was there last year. He saw a lot of that defense. It's not like, he's going in and has no idea what the Steelers are going to try to do to him. So, they had tape on him, obviously, him being there, but he had the same. And so he took full advantage of what the Steelers want to do. And when they did make mistakes, he made them pay. But if you, to Spears' point, man, you can't give up these rushing yards. Like that offensive line flat out got after him. I mean, the Jets O-line freaking got physical on him. If that's the one thing I would be the most nervous. You don't want to get out physical in week 1. That's when everybody, their hats on, everybody's fired up. Right. That is not the way you want to start week 1.
The irony in all of this, I don't think the Jets offense looked like that once when Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback. I mean, he was on the other side doing his thing. Gentlemen, stand by. Brooke, thank you. Christine?
Yeah, let's talk game that we saw last night, a little Monday Night Football. Vikings taking on the Chicago Bears in Chicago. You know how it ended. First quarter, Vikings driving down 11 after a missed Bears field goal. 12 minutes to go, 3rd and 5 from the Bears 13. J.J. McCarthy sits in the pocket. He finds his guy, Justin Jefferson, for the touchdown. Watch it again. Impressive throw, very tight window. After a failed 2-point attempt, Vikings down 17-12. We love the Grady, by the way. 2 minutes later, first down, Vikings from the Bears 27. McCarthy drops it down the right sideline to Aaron Jones. That's a score. They would convert the 2-point attempt and lead 20-17. 3 minutes left in the game. Vikings trying to ice the game after another Bears punt. McCarthy takes it in himself on the option, gets blocking on the outside, finds the end zone. He finished 13-20, 143 pass yards, 25 rushing yards, 3 total touchdowns, and of course the Vikings would win 27-24 in his debut. So Jeff, as the saying goes, right, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But what do you have to say about the full package that J.J. McCarthy put together last night?
I love his finish, right? When you think about throwing that pick six at the beginning of the third quarter, I mean, the air was out of the ball for this football team. He bulled his neck. Christina was like, you know what? I'm going to let it rip. And he did. And you saw the rest of the game, right? He kept pushing the ball down the field. He wasn't hesitant. He understood he made a bad play that set his team way back. But you love that a guy has that type of response. Because the reality is, you don't know what the guy's going to be until he hits prime time, right? Big lights. And when he saw him, he didn't back down. He kept pushing forward. They got more aggressive on the defensive side of the ball, simultaneously with the offense. Got a lot of respect for the way he finished that game.
Yeah, Swagu, we were both in Chicago yesterday. You got to see him live and in person. What was your evaluation of McCarthy's first night?
Grew up right in front of our eyes. He dealt with what I thought he would deal with early in the game. The game being fast, different looks from Dennis Allen. He was a little bit confused, played timid. But I got to give Kevin O'Connell a shout-out, man. In real time, you saw a coach never waver on his quarterback. He kept J.J. McCarthy in this game. He also kept calling plays for him to have success. You've seen this, Christina, and Jeff has seen this a million times. When you get a young quarterback and he's struggling early, coaches have a tendency to say, we just going to hand the ball off, and if we get to a punt, we'll be fine. Kevin O'Connell was like, the hell with that. Yeah. We still going to try to go score some points. The run game got going for him. J.J. confidence started to begin to build, especially after that touchdown. Yeah. He threw in the middle of the field to Justin Jefferson, and things started to slow down. I talked about it on Monday Night Countdown last night. The reason why I didn't pick the Minnesota Vikings because I had never seen their quarterback play an NFL game on the road on Monday night. Y'all know what that's like. It's a playoff atmosphere. And you could see that it was getting to him early, but the way this kid bounced back and responded not only is about the infrastructure that's around him and the coaches, it also tells you a lot about his makeup and what kind of football player they plan on him being for years to come in Minnesota.
Yeah, Jeff, you want to add something?
When you talked about the touchdown that he throws in the middle of the field to Jefferson, the play before where Jefferson's, I think it's a third down, he's breaking out, maybe in second down, he's breaking out on the outside. He took a shot right in the chest, still delivered that ball to Justin. That's where I thought he really started to catch fire. Like, he's like, you know what? I can do this. I'm going to stand in here. I'm going to make these throws. And to your point, next thing you know, he hits a touchdown in the middle of the end zone. That's tough to do, and he did it. That was special.
Yeah,
I want to make this point because Jeff brought it up, and we talked about that play. Rookies, when they playing bad like that, they do not throw the ball in the middle of the field. Like, that's me, Jeff, that was big, too, that he chose that location. Now, I know it makes it a lot more comfortable that that's Justin Jefferson running across the middle of the field. But usually you get timid and you don't want to let that ball go because you're worried about the mistakes that's been happening previously.
Well, O'Connell told him that he had confidence in him to get them back into the game. So I would imagine that played into it as well. Let's talk about the other side of this matchup when it comes to the Bears. Caleb Williams in the offense, they started off fast, right? But then they weren't able to keep up the pace. What were your evaluations of Caleb Williams now in Ben Johnson's offense?
It's going to take time. I mean, you think about this. J.J. McCarthy has been in the same program for over a year. Caleb Williams has had, three head coaches, 4 offensive coordinators, and this is week 1 with Ben Johnson. They've been together for 5 or 6 months. It's going to take time. He looked good on the first 15. As it progressed, he kind of fell back to some old habits. that he had last year, but he's got a lot to forget that J.J. McCarthy fortunately did not have to go through. So in my mind, I think you trust Ben Johnson. Now you got to trust the relationship he's building with Caleb Williams. It's going to take time, but I like there was a lot of upside. I know he missed throws. I know he wasn't overly accurate, but give it some time for this thing to develop, and those explosive plays will happen because they were there. Unfortunately, he just missed them.
What did you see, Swagu?
That was my takeaway.
Yeah.
Missed throws were my biggest concern because some of these should be normal NFL throws, and Jeff, to Jeff's point, a lot of times that's your mind being too sped up, and you're trying to be perfect. They get into scoring position at least and have some time to let the 2-minute warning be one of their timeouts. They ended up having to kick the ball off, and they go past the 2-minute warning, and now all you're doing is draining the clock. So there was the Cole Kmet over the middle of the field. I know we love to have graphics, but there's 2 football players talking about the game. Just watch it. I think the misses were my biggest issue, but you could tell that it was a point being made to make him play faster, to give him outs, easy throws, make sure that those things happen. But I said it last night too, Christina. This league is about making the big play. When those 4 or 5 opportunities present themselves, Jeff knows that you have to hit at least 50% of them. And I can't recall him hitting any of them, maybe one of those ones that they really needed.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It's like 6 months with Ben Johnson. He had so much to learn in that short window of time. To Anscape senior writer and NFL analyst Dominique Foxworth. So another close loss means another trip back to the drawing board.